Hi there, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to welcome Thrax, vocalist of Leicester-based old school death metal band Blood Oath. How are you doing, Thrax? How are things with you?
Well, thank you, mate. Thank you, sir. Yes, yes. It's a very chilly Tuesday night, but not too bad.
Well, I'll let you know that it's not very sunny up here either. So we get to see the sun every leap year up here in Glasgow. So
I can imagine. I've heard the horror stories.
So how have things been with yourself from lockdown? Are you lucky enough to still be working and things like that?
I am, yes, yes. I'm a tattooist by trade, so it was a bit strange. Yeah, I've not had like 4 or 5 months off before in my life, and it was up and down. Started off really good, again doing a lot, you know, typical keep myself busy, doing lots of little jobs around the house.
Yeah.
Try not to drink too much, even though I did. But I'm quite fortunate to get back on it.
Yeah, I think we've all become that, like alcoholics during this lockdown.
Yeah.
So, but that's great to hear. So, so obviously the reason for talking to you is that you've released your second album, Infernum Rex Diabolis, just under a year ago now. So it's just wondering, with the lockdown, have you been using this time constructively and written any more songs?
The plan was the start of this year to start on album 3 for sure. We've got the bare bones of a couple of songs already, but I know the guitarists are still pinging ideas to each other. But because of the lockdown, you know, we had to draw a line under it for a while, and so we're very rusty. But yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, to start off with that, and we'd like to be a bit more constructive, I guess. But we can do what we can.
Yeah. So what was it like at the beginning then? I know everything completely shut down in March, but when was the first time that you guys were back together again in the studio or rehearse or in the gardens or whatever like that?
We got back together for a couple of weeks last month when we thought it was like easing off a little bit, and we released a little video of us practicing or wearing masks and facing different directions and stuff. But now we've sort of stopped again, because even though we're not quite sure exactly what we can and can't do, we're practicing a little sweat box of a room. So we thought, you know what, we'll leave it. We don't want to take the risk.
So was it quite funny, like seeing each other for the first time in 6 months? You were trying to remember who was in the band and who's not in the band and what instrument you playing.
That's right. Yeah, we a lot more of the guys in the band have got bigger beards as well, which is I've noticed. Bigger bellies and beards. No, yeah, it was kind of nice to get back into it. We was surprised at how well we remembered things as well. You know, we thought we'd be stopping halfway through a song and scratching our heads and going, well, which bit's next? But I must admit, there was a couple of occasions where I was looking at a lyric sheet again and going, what comes next? Verse 3, 2? Never mind.
So then, in the times that you couldn't see each other, how were you communicating ideas? Like, how were the guitarists demonstrating the riffs to you for your feedback and such like?
Generally, they'd what happened was they just send like audio clips. Really, yeah. We've got a private kind of WhatsApp thing. We'll send little audio clips to each other, and it's hard to try and judge it really until you hear it loud. You know, it's not exactly the right sound.
Yeah. So if you've been the vocalist for the band, then do you write most of the lyrics, or do you write all the lyrics? Do you welcome contributions from the other guys in the band?
I've always welcomed contributions, but they tend to just leave me to it. I think I'll come up with an idea, I'll either see something or read something, and I'll get an idea, and then I'll end up running with it and then going off in a different tangent and forgetting what the thing was in the first place, and write something about zombies instead, you know, and that kind of thing, you know. So generally I'll end up sort of I'll hear. If I get a basic recording of the actual structure of the song, I'll sit at home and I'll think, I know what will work with this one, and end up writing absolute nonsense and rearranging it all and piecing it together.
Could the lyrics pretty much be done in like one shift? Could the lyrics pretty much be done in one shift, or does it take a couple of weeks, a month or something like that before you're finally happy?
Generally, all the songs have differed really. Some of them have come out really quick, and others. Yeah, I'll end up going back to the drawing board, for, for a couple of months. I'll be standing there thinking I've got it, and then I'll be recording, like practicing it in the rehearsal room, and going, "Nah, that sounds terrible." What was I thinking? So yeah, they all differ. They all differ. It's hard to say. What's how long things take. It's just generally I'll have an idea and come up with something, and hopefully it'll flow. If not, then I'll just throw it in the bin and start again.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So you also released a video for the title track to coincide with the album release then. So I was just wondering, in the time of this year, did you have any ideas of doing another video, but COVID maybe put that to rest, or as another band, another single release or anything like that been put to bed?
Oh yeah, we not so long ago, we spoke about we want to do a second video. We've picked a song out. We are going to do one, and it's just doing it. It's just coming up with an idea. We want to do another sort of a live action kind of thing rather than a lyric video or something animated or anything like that. Yeah, we want to do a live sort of something more us prancing around in trees, probably like like a black metal band.
So where was the first one recorded? Who did you do the video for the title track?
We went to an area not far from here, a place in Melton Mowbray, and it's an old disused rail tunnel. A chap called Jay Hillier who recorded it. He's like a friend of a friend kind of thing. He knew the location.
Yeah.
We wanted somewhere like an archway or a tunnel to go with the whole Minotaur thing. So we went there, and then we went back to his studio and did a few little shots of like the guitarist and the drums and that, just to pad the video out, because it couldn't all just be me, apparently.
Yeah. Well, you're not a wee bit worried about the lyrics of the song coming alive in the tunnel and stuff like that, and coming to eat you or anything like that, or chase you or anything like that?
It's hard to picture it until Jay kind of did it, put it all together. There's a lot of clawing around in the dirt and in a dark cobweb tunnel and that for a few hours. It was a bit weird, but he had a vision and it kind of looked cool. So kind of what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, you're big muscly man. You would have been able to look after yourself anyway. So
yeah, I think there was some rogue cows in the next field that looked a bit scary, to be honest. So we had to shoo them off.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. So for those then that are new to the band, how would you say it compares to your early material? And do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for with the new songs, the structure of the new songs that you're talking about just now? It's a different sound again.
Yeah, I think the two albums are similar for the most part. I think the first one, the first album is probably a little thrashier. It's a little bit kind of you could probably say a bit more kind of haunted, at the gatesy kind of thing. Whereas this one, there's a slight kind of, there's a bit more of a black metal element to it. It's a bit slower in places. I would say my criticism of the first album is it's a bit of a melting pot of different ideas. I think when we came together as a band, we went into the studio and recorded 8 songs.
Yeah. And
they all had a different feel to them. Whereas I think with the second album, there's a bit more of similarity. They kind of all fit together a little bit more. And I think there's a bit more of a mature writing to the second one, I would say.
Yeah. Was it a case of the first album, you were just delighted to get in the studio, just record it in such, was it a short space of time? Did you take longer with the second album?
I would say we took a little longer. Yeah, I think the first one, I'm guessing the guys in the band, maybe the guitarist, had some riffs and ideas before the band even started, and so we all came together, and we got kind of excited and went, right, let's write as much as we can, and then jump in the studio and get it recorded, get it down onto CD.
Yeah.
Whereas now we thought, well, that was okay. Let's try that again.
Yeah. But just take it back a wee step and just take our time.
Yeah. I think we knew kind of how to. We got into a routine of how we write songs, how we construct them piece by piece, and then I think once we got into that routine, it falls together a bit quicker and a bit easier. And yeah, we know what sounds good and what doesn't sound good, I guess, this time round. Yeah.
So how many, have you got any complete songs, or is it roughly 5 or 6, but they're not complete yet, or?
Well, for the new one, the new album, yeah, you'd have to ask the guitarist that one. They keep it, they're very, very secretive. Yeah, they don't like to release a song's ideas unless it's completely, they're 100% sold on it. So I'd say we've got two rough ideas and then a few little other riffs and then that like bouncing around their heads.
Yeah. So is it still too early then for you to input your lyrics?
I think so. I've got some working titles. I've got some ideas already that I want to work with. Probably going a little bit darker, probably, even though it's a bit cliche, going a bit more satanic, a bit kind of cultist side of it. So there's that kind of theme running into it. But yeah, I've got some ideas. I get this. They've got some ideas, but until we actually do it properly, I'll have to hang on. I'll have to hang on for a little while yet.
So is it too early to say like where you plan to record it? Are you going to use the same place, or are you going to branch out a wee bit and see if there's anything different to the sound or anything like that? Or
we're 100% happy with the sound, especially for the second album.
Yeah.
We'll go back to Neil, Initiate Audio Media.
Yeah.
He's in Wellingborough, so he's not far from us. It's about a 40-minute drive, so it's we don't have to take all our gear hours and hours on the road. So he's done a fantastic job. I enjoyed working with him. I've worked with previous producers in an old band years ago, and I found it really difficult. You know, when you're trying to vocally do your best, and you just have to repeat lyrics about 20 times, you kind of get a bit. Your morale kind of drops. But Neil's brilliant at it. He's great at keeping you going and telling jokes and stories, and getting you back in there for another go, and says, "Nah, you can do better than that. You know you can."
Did he also bring fresh ideas to the songs, like changing things a wee bit, or did he have a personal touch?
I try to. I usually get talked down to by Fraser and that, like, because he's a bit of a, he's the sergeant major of the band, I suppose you could say. He's the one in charge. He doesn't like to admit it, but he is.
Yes. That's brilliant.
I usually stand there in the rehearsal studio and I'll say something like, "Oh, maybe you should slow that bit down," and they'll just look at me like, "All right, I'll leave it. I'll just sit back down again."
A man of your size scared of Fraser. Oof.
Oh, I know, yeah. I think he's got some blackmail photos of me. I think he thinks he's got the upper hand, but I don't mind them.
That's excellent, thank you. So, talking about this, we're just touching on it there. So things seem to be fairly settled in the band members front with Blood Oath. So when constructing new material with the band members having their own personal taste in music, how would you say you keep it all together? Like, for example, when negotiating what stays in and what goes out of the song?
We've all got our own personal tastes. That's true, but I think we all kind of meet in the middle. I think we all have similar tastes, and we bring them to the table. I think it would be very disjointed if we didn't. I mean, to be fair, Adrian, our drummer, he's a bit more of even though he likes sort of death metal and black metal, I think he's old school kind of hardcore. He's got a slightly different, songs that he prefers, like drumming style. But I think that works. Yeah. But yeah, I think they kind of come together and they overlap in places and in all the right areas. So we again, what stays in and what goes out. I think that's Fraser again. You got to.
I'm kind of disappointed in your answer there. I was kind of hoping for like fisticuffs in the studio and like blood in the studio walls and everything like that.
Oh. Well, I can't really divulge those stories, I'm afraid. No.
No, but I'd imagine like you say, it goes in the feel of the song. So I'd imagine it's like at the end of the song, if you heard the song for the first time, would you say to yourself, "I would buy that"? You know, if you go into a shop and you heard it and it wasn't by yourselves or anything like that, it's good enough to buy. I'd imagine that's what you're like at the end of the song. You'd say, "Yeah, I would actually buy that." So in other words,
oh yeah, for sure. For the last album, for Infernum, yeah, definitely. There's I should say there's at least half that even now I listen to, where you listen to them on the car stereo and you just go, wow, that's actually a really, really good bit. It just blows you away even now, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, definitely.
Is there anything about you mentioned about our criticism of the first album? Well, not criticism, a wee bit of self-reflection on the first album. Is there anything that you would look at differently with the second album? Is there anything that you would change about it?
The second album? No, not really, no. No.
You're not going to do like
with the second album, I think that'd be nitpicking. It is what it is. Yeah, it's that period in time, and where you know, there's the odd bit where I think vocally I could have been better. You know, I was probably a little bit had a bit of a sore throat by the end of the day, and I felt I still cringe when I hear my vocals. To be honest, sometimes I still kind of cringe, like, oh, is that really me? But I think there's the odd little bit in the odd song where I think, oh, I could have done that bit a little bit better. But again, that's just nitpicking. That's just little details. Yeah. I think musically, there's definitely nothing wrong with it, and that's not me trying to sell it either. It's
well, that's something that you can take forward going on to the next of the album. Then it's just learning from all your experiences and seeing if you can sing things differently and stuff like that. So it's just a learning curve, isn't it? So
I think so. Yeah, I think when we did the first album, we went into the studio thinking we were ready. And I think by the end of it, it's always a learning experience. And you finish the recording, I wasn't unhappy with it, but I think because you go in there and you learn and go, well, actually, next time we'll do this. Yeah. And now we've gone in to do the second album, you realise actually we've spent more time. We thought we were polished before, but now we had to go in and really deconstruct the songs and each individual section of the songs and really polish them, practicing them, and just getting as tight and as well oiled as we can. And this, when we went in the second time, it was like, this is a lot easier.
Oh, it'll be a breeze for the next one then, eh? It'll be a breeze.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. It probably won't be, but it's a dodgy album. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we will learn these things. Like, for instance, Adrian, our drummer as well, the second time round, he put everything down on a like a click track, so everything was more definitely a lot even. It wasn't, you know, the tempo wasn't floating. It was very much, and we found that to be an absolute godsend for this one. So it's just everything sort of as it should be, tempo wise, and we're not scratching each other's heads going, why is that slightly quicker when it shouldn't be? Because you know what adrenaline's like. You play just even that few BPM quicker.
Yeah. That's it. So thank you for that. So where is it you record and where is it you rehearse your songs? Where's your practice space?
Our practice space is in Leicester. It's literally it's probably less than a mile away from where I live at the moment. To be fair, it's an industrial estate just up the road. We have a residential. We keep all our stuff there, all our gear, all our touring stuff. Yeah, it's essential really to have your own rented out space. Especially, you know, we have a lot of stuff.
So you're all from Leicester, you're all fairly local. It's all easy to reach.
Honestly, no, not really. No, Adrian, he was originally from Leicester. He now lives in Cambridge, so that's a bit of a drive for him. And Bill, our bass player, he's just probably a little bit further out. He's probably about half hour, 40 minutes drive away from Leicester. So he's a country boy. So so we don't rib him. Honest.
Yeah. So under normal circumstances, how often would you meet?
Once a week, at least. Yeah. If we've got something coming up where we've got a gig, like a festival slot coming up, then we'll double them up and go twice a week. But generally, if at this time of the year, yeah, it's either nothing or thanks to COVID, or just once a week. Yeah.
No, that's excellent. Thank you for that. So. I take it because of COVID as well, you maybe had a bit more time to look at other sides of the band, like the business side of the band, like spreading the name and stuff like that. But I also see that you're releasing a new shirt as well for the Charity Music Venue Trust. So would you like to tell us a wee bit more about that, please? And are the shirts still available and things, and where could we get them from?
Well, sadly not. No, I printed out a limited run, but it was an idea that I had a few months ago. Well, when was it? Crikey, about April time.
Yeah.
We obviously couldn't do anything gig-wise, and so I just felt it was a little way of trying to raise awareness for the Music Venue Trust, and obviously raise just a little bit of money for them. It was just a little thing we could do. I sat at home doodling this design, and Fraser said, "That'll look good on a shirt." So, so the two went together, really, yeah. And I printed out. I got a limited run printed of about 80 shirts, and they've all gone. Apart from, I think there's a couple of small ones left. So,
yeah,
if you know anybody who's really small, then there's two available. But other than that, I was amazed how quickly they sold. You know, everyone was really happy about them, and yeah, we raised quite a nice little chunk of change for the charity, and we're proud of doing that. We'll do it again.
That's excellent. Then, so talking about venues, how have things been in Leicester? Has there unfortunately been any closures or anything like that because of COVID, or how are things like with promoters and things?
Thankfully, as far as I know, there's been no closures. It's been there's been a few squeaky bum times, I think, for them. It's been close. Generally, I think it's been good. There's the majority of them have been able to get these grants to help them pay the rent and keep them going.
Yeah.
It's just difficult with numbers as well, isn't it? Because it's reduced numbers, seating. You know, you can't do anything. They can't bring the money in that they normally can, even without the bands. So. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's difficult, but hopefully we're through the worst of it. So we'll see.
Hopefully, get sick of this as well. But I also see, to pass the time, that you're also doing a death metal podcast. So how's that going, and how are you enjoying it?
Oh, I enjoy it. Yes. Again, it's a case of it's part of the YouTube channel that we got, and yeah, again, myself and Fraser, he'd come around here and we'd drink a bit. I know, quite a bit. And basically we'd sit down and discuss. Obviously we'll start talking about the band and talk about what we can tell people about the band, and then we'll talk about other bands, like unsigned bands, like our friends, other sort of local bands, and discuss them. Yeah. And if they've got like an album out or coming out, or if they've got a shirt out or anything like that, it's just cool just to talk about it. Yeah. And then I'll anything else in the sort of catches my eye, I'll discuss, like for instance, the last one, the old Entombed singer being seriously ill with cancer. Yeah. With LG Petrov. Yeah. It was an absolute shock to read that, and I just thought I had to mention it, had to talk about it, and hopefully kind of say, look, you know, there's a GoFundMe page to help raise a bit of money for him. But yeah, we enjoy it. It's a good laugh. We have a few Jack and Cokes and ramble for at least half an hour, and then I have to sit here in front of my laptop and condense it down to about 18-20 minutes and stick it on YouTube. I call it a podcast because I think I've tried the podcast avenue, but it just sounds better than vlog, really, doesn't it? So
it does. I'm still new to this game as well, so still trying to broaden my horizons and try to bring graphics and stuff like that into it as well. But I'm just useless when it comes to IT, you know. Oh,
I am as well. You know, people have been helping me out for things like that, for sure, for graphics. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, again, it's another way of raising awareness for the band, and not just us, for the unsigned scene. Yeah. You know, it's just a little bit something we do. Yeah.
I saw you spoke you spoke about Repulsive Vision in one of your podcasts recently, and I interviewed Matt. He's a really down to earth guy. I interviewed Netherhall as well. They asked to give a shout out to yourself, the band Netherhall. Yeah. So yeah, but everything's going good. I'm getting there.
That's the main thing, isn't it? Just keep going. It's it's a bit frustrating at times with technology, trying to get things to work, but no, yeah, you got to keep going.
I know. And talking about raising the profile, you've been signed to the growing Fat Angel management company for a while now. So how did that come about, and how's the relationship been so far, and what do you hope Fat Angel will bring to Blood Oath?
I wouldn't say they're growing, because I don't know if you've watched them. They're doing that yoga thing, so they're actually they're not as fat as they used to be, are they? Mind you, I can talk. I might try that myself. Yeah, I don't know exactly how long we've been with Fat Angel, but it must be at least a year or two. And we were assigned to another management company back in 2017, shortly after we played Bloodstock, and we were approached, and they did a fantastic job, but they weren't. I don't think they were as local as Fat Angel are to us. So we wanted to be a bit more active where we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's through mutual friends we got to know them, and we've heard some really good stories about them. They're really down to earth, and they're really good with like the small bands. So yeah, we've been working with them, and they're a good bunch of characters. Even Daniel's a good laugh, actually. But yeah, no, they're cool. It's I think our relationship's all right with them. Don't know. You'll have to ask them. But what I hope they'll bring to us is just a bit of recognition. It's, I suppose, because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of unsigned bands out there, and to be noticed amongst the crowd. That's the main thing. To get onto little festival slots and gigs, and to have a bit of, just to get your name out there. It's very difficult, and they help tremendously. Yeah. So hopefully they do that.
Yeah. Because you've had a few festival slots. You've been at Bloodstock, you've been at Uprising, HRH, is that right? You've been to Romania.
Oh yeah, HRH Vikings and the metal one. Yeah. In Birmingham. I loved the Vikings one. That was in Sheffield. That was a great laugh. Great laugh.
Great. So that leads us on to there'll of course be no live shows in the near future. So did you indeed have plans for this summer? And have you got plans for next year? Or are you just stopping everything just now until things settle down and then pick up again? Are you just giving up?
Yeah, I guess we're just going to hang on until we've got about half a dozen shows penciled in for next year, thankfully. It's just a shame what happened this year. I think, like I say, we were concentrating on album 3, but if anything dropped on our lap gig-wise, we'd take it. Again, we want to get out there as much as we can and get our name out there. We were down for some absolutely amazing festivals this year, including Badgerfest, as you put down on your questions coming up. But plans for the summer, it was just basically go and do gigs, see bands, get drunk at Bloodstock. That was the plan for summer, obviously. Disgusting
behaviour, absolutely disgusting.
So it's a difficult job. Someone's got to do that, haven't they?
Yeah. Talking about Badgerfest, I'm kind of in cohorts with John Badger, so I see that you're playing Badgerfest in October next year, so you're obviously looking forward to playing the gigs, but are there any other bands in the bill that are catching your eye as well?
Obviously, one of my favourites is Raging Speedhorn. It goes without saying. We've supported them, and we've seen those guys a few times. A bunch of lads. They've just brought an album out, haven't they? I need to listen to that. Right. And Ramage Inc. as well. They're a fantastic band. I won't mind. It's been a long time since I've seen Ramage Inc. live, so I'm looking forward to that one. Red Method, I wrote them down, and of course there's a band called Ashen Crown.
Yeah, no, just a small band, yeah.
I think they've got an album out. Not sure. Anyway.
Yeah, it's certainly been growing a bit on reputation, Badgerfest. So how did you get to know John, and how did you manage to get onto the bill? Did he see a gig and say, right, you're on, or did you apply to get onto Badgerfest, or was it?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think I was been friends with John for a number of years, obviously doing the band stuff, and I had my eye on Badgerfest for the last couple of years, and I think we pestered him last year, but it didn't work out. I think we were too late, so I think we pestered him a little bit this year, and he's kind of caved in, so he's let us have a slot, or we won't leave him alone. But no, I don't know him. Don't know how I know him.
I've been trying to get to myself for the last couple of years, and I actually got a ticket this year, and I was going to go down and stuff like that. But hey, I'll definitely be down next year, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Yeah,
it's one of the few that we were looking forward to playing, because the plan was to stay over and see both the days rather than just turn up, play and go. Because there's nothing worse than that. You feel really frustrated when you just then meet someone for about 5 minutes and shake their hand and then go, right, gotta go.
Yeah,
we love staying and watching all the bands, and that was one of the plans that we were going to do is stay over there and make a weekend of it.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing because it's been delayed a year. He's now made it into a 3-day fest, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday now. So he's certainly keeping me busy because I've got to interview everybody. So it's like 35 bands.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. Maybe showing a wee bit of my age here. I don't know how young you are, but before the internet, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends. So now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for Blood Oath?
That's an interesting question, actually. I was thinking about this earlier on. I think the internet is a great way of for bands like ourselves to get music out via Spotify, for instance, for people to hear us for free, you know, and check out an album.
Yeah.
I think the only downside with the internet is you mentioned all these thousands of websites. Is the majority of them, in my opinion, are all kind of other people's opinions and reviews. Whereas with a magazine, you'll see an article where it'll be about a death metal band's releasing an album, and you'll have to go out and find it and go out and search for it. Whereas now it's just a click of a button, and if you just see like a negative review online, you just think, oh, I'll leave it, I won't bother. And I think it's too. I think we should be able to make our own mind up a little bit more of what we like and don't like, to be honest. Yes, it's a double-edged sword, I think, isn't it? The internet. I do miss the old magazines, to be honest, and you know, like I still get Zero Tolerance with the CD, but it's just discovering bands and.
Terrorizer was good as well, and there was a time there was a time when crap was good. Oh, sorry, Kerrang was good. You know?
Well, we put actual rock and metal in it rather than anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you say, it's like a click of a button now. Like it's just unfortunate. Like there's 10,000 bands doing the exact same thing now. It's just trying to find that jewel in the crown. You know. Yeah,
it's trying to get your name known amongst a crowd of thousands of other bands. Yeah, it's hard because, like I say, you see a negative review or someone will just play a song for about 30 seconds and it's like, no. Yeah. You know, it's too dismissive, where I think if you actually had to actively go out and find an album, a vinyl, a CD, you'd buy it, listen to the whole album, look at the artwork, look at the lyrics, and I think you end up becoming attached to the music rather than hearing 30 seconds of it.
Yeah. I'm pretty old school as well. I like to have, I remember the days where like CDs should be burned. It should be burned, you know, cassettes and vinyl and stuff, you know.
But I remember watching, this is my age, I remember watching, I thought was it Tomorrow's World when they did an article about CDs, and I thought, it will never take off.
Yeah.
It'll never take off. It was just a fad. I thought it was a load of rubbish, and now look at it.
Well, they're now saying that vinyl has actually outsold CDs for the first time in donkey's years, you know. So that was pleasing to hear. But I've been talking to a couple of guys since I've known them in 1990, and it was like you would put a pound note in an envelope, and you'll wait for the postman, and you'll get a tape, you'll get a cassette, and it'll be a demo, you know. And it was just all the excitement and waiting for the postman to arrive, you know. It's just, and you're writing to the band and you get personal letters back, you know. It's just that touch lost a wee bit. But hey ho, like you say, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, I always tried to make the effort when someone buys Blood Oath merch, I'll put some stickers in there and I'll leave like a little thank you note. You know, I'll write something for them because it's a nice touch. You open the package and you think, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll keep holding. That's nice, you know.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So I've only got one or two more wee questions for you then. So what's next for Blood Oath? You kind of mentioned it's concentrating on an album. Is that pretty much it?
Trying not to kill each other. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're going to if we can get into the room, we're going to try and shake off all the rust from our playing, and maybe off the strings as well. And just get ourselves match fit, as we call it, and just try and keep doing what we do.
So do you think the next release will be an album, or do you think you might release a 3-4 song EP or something like that, or do you planning definitely for an album?
I think we always try for an album for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
I know where other bands do EPs and things like that, which is cool. But I always find there's something a bit more value, a bit more weight to an album. I think when people buy that, there's a lot more. Yeah. It feels like you got to put more effort into it. I know that sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. I think it's. I was listening to, because I do a bit of reviewing for Metallum Subterra, and I was listening to an EP for them of this band, and after the fourth song, I was like, I could do with some more of that. You know, it kind of makes you feel a bit kind of. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, actually, whether people want more, but I always feel there's something a bit more to do with an album. I personally prefer them.
Yeah.
So hopefully
you get EPs that have got like 5 and 6 songs. Why don't you just record another 1 or 2 songs, and before you're going to know it, you've got an album, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
And an album for me, it's got like a story. It's got like a beginning, middle, and an end. Whereas an EP, like you're just after saying, you're just wanting that wee bit more. Like, who's the next song? I've got to hear another song. But...
Yeah. I think an EP is a good sample. It's a good way of discovering a band. You know, I'd rather hear 4 songs than 1.
Yeah.
But I think, like you say, I think with an album, you've got that. You tend to have an intro, an outro, and you'll have like a bit of so that you get the feel for the songs and for the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it feels better.
That's right. Just the last question for you then. This is usually when I ask the guys in the band to tell me all about their instruments, but with you being the vocalist then, have you tried and tested like so many microphones until you're satisfied with this particular microphone that you're using just now, or are you not so fussy with microphones, or?
I've not tried many. No, I mean I've tried about 3 or 4. I'm kind of settled with a Sennheiser one at the moment. I've got a wireless Sennheiser setup. I've got a couple of the old Shure SM58s as well. I use them in the rehearsal room, and
yeah, I
know you use them for recording, but I think live I just prefer the sound of the Sennheiser. But guitar wise, I don't know anything about them personally, but I know they've tried different guitars over the years,
yeah,
and they use Solars purely because of the Evertune thingy. My mind's gone blank now. Fraser's going to kill me, but because it's Evertune, it's like I don't know. It's magic. It's like weird technology, alien technology that no one understands why these strings stay perfectly in tune no matter what you do to them. So it's fantastic for gigs and recording. So they.
To be honest with you, I don't think Fraser could have explained that any better. Well, he should have came on here then, shouldn't he? He could have talked about 10, 15 minutes about his guitars and all the rest of it. But hey ho.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I'm disappointed with him. I'm gonna slap his wrist. But yeah, because we normally have a bit of banter with each other as well. So I'm surprised he's not on.
We did talk about blood in the studio walls and stuff like that, you know. So maybe.
Yeah, it's the look. I mean, I know they take the stage with fake blood on, but I might do real blood next time just to warn him.
Yeah. So see when you're preparing for a gig, then the guys can get the guitars and just strum and all the rest of it. What do you do to prepare yourself for the vocals and an hour of like growling? How do you get your throat ready?
I use vocal zones, those little tablets. I tend to have one a couple of hours before and then an hour before. I'll just sort of have one in my mouth throughout the day while we're setting up. But I may have a beer or something, but I'll tend not to drink anything too cold or too hot. I'll just have sort of water and I tend to just pace around a lot, and I'll end up being the first one getting changed into me gear and all the face paint just to get into character, and I'll just walk around and growl at people generally and make silly warm-up noises as well that the rest of the guys take the piss out of.
I mean, I remember I had an interview with Dan Sweeney, and he was saying like he finds it difficult to growl now because he just gets sore heads. You don't have any after effects of like growling, like recording for the album, for example, like doing each line like 20 times and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, with recording, it's and live, I guess as well. It's a case of just trying to knock yourself down to about 70%. Because if you go at it full pelt, then yeah, you do end up sort of losing it. I think live wise, you can get away with it for like a half hour, 40-minute set.
Yeah.
But after longer than that, then yeah, my throat it just swells up, doesn't it? It just closes up, and yeah, you do feel it afterwards. tend to have a bit of a sore throat, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. A couple of beers after I've been on stage, and then I forget all about it.
Quite right, quite right. Well, Thrax, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. But if anybody wants to find out about Blood Oath, then where will we find you on social media then?
I'm always on Facebook, and we're on Instagram as well. We're on YouTube. I used to be on Twitter, but I don't understand it, quite frankly. But it, and yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. We've got our own website as well. We've got our own little website, which I go on occasionally. There's not a lot on there at the moment because we're not really doing a great deal, as you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, come check us out.
Certainly all on Bandcamp.
Hi, mate. Get everyone to say hi.
You're certainly on Bandcamp and everything like that as well.
No, I used to be on Bandcamp. No, we've got our online store is with Big Cartel instead. Yeah, I might go back onto that one as well. Actually, to be fair, because it's not a bad one, because they do the money off thing on the Fridays, don't they? Or they used to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we still do.
Yeah, not bad.
Well, as I said, Thrax, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm looking forward to you in the third album. Be sure to send it to us, and we'll certainly review it and promote it from our side. So. Oh,
lovely. Yeah, proud to, mate. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it wasn't a complete load of rambling nonsense, and you can take a bit out of that for your interview. Yeah,
I'll edit it down to about 5 minutes or something.
So yeah, that's right. Just the hello and goodbye bit, and that's it. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So when that all happens, I'll send you the links and everything anyway. But like I say, it's been a pleasure talking to you, mate. And I wish you the best luck.
Everybody, take care, and yeah.
You too.
Look to you, mate. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully,